Have you ever watched someone underestimate your mom? And instantly wished you had popcorn? Because the moment this woman cut off my mom's car, screamed at her, and then tried to weaponize her cop boyfriend to blame her for everything. She had no idea she was picking a fight with the wrong family. And trust me, my mom's revenge? Oh, it was delicious. I grew up in a mostly white, quiet New Jersey suburb. The kind of place where the streets are clean, the lawns are identical, and everyone pretends they aren't judging each other. And for the most part, things were fine. But everyone knew. Everyone. That a handful of people carried around the kind of quiet racism they'd never admit to out loud. My mom, first-generation immigrant, thick Asian accent, strongest woman I know, never let it faze her. She always said, as long as I know the truth, their opinions don't change my life. But that day, those words were put to the test. My mom had just visited a friend on the other side of town. The street was wide, like 5 cars across wide, and she'd parallel parked at the bottom of a small hill. When she pulled out, the coast was clear. A Jeep Wrangler was way up the hill. Not close, not speeding, not anything. But suddenly, this woman, Karen because of course, comes flying down the hill, swerves across a double yellow line, and cuts directly in front of my mom's car. At such a sharp angle. Her rear wheel ripped my mom's front bumper clean off. No exaggeration. Plastic on asphalt. The kind of sound that makes your stomach drop. My mom stopped instantly. Karen didn't. She stormed out of her Jeep screaming, "Are you blind? A freaking accident just happened." All while her kids sat in the back seat wide-eyed and silent. My mom tried to explain, but Karen cut her off with more yelling, demanding the police. My mom's phone had died, so her friend and the neighbor came out to help, and thank God they did. Because one of them, her friend's college-aged son, started taking photos. Angles, street lines, tire marks, distances, everything. At the time, no one knew those photos would save my mom. When the responding officer finally arrived, Officer Kenny, my mom started explaining what happened. She'd gotten maybe 5 words out when he held up a hand and said, "Hold on." And he walked away. Not to examine the scene. Not to listen. Not to check anything. He walked straight to a man who had just pulled up. Karen's boyfriend. A police officer from our town. They greeted each other like buddies meeting for a barbecue. They chatted. Laughed. Did not walk over to the cars. Did not ask either woman for a statement. Did not interview a single witness. When it was done, Kenny dismissed everyone with a casual, "I've got what I need." My mom tried to speak again. He brushed her off. Like she wasn't worth the time. Like her accent was an inconvenience. Like Karen was automatically right because she had a cop boyfriend. But the real punch in the gut? When the police report came in a week later. It said my mom pulled out recklessly without a blinker and hit Karen's car. And Karen expected our insurance to pay her. I remember my mom sitting at the kitchen table, report in hand, jaw tight. She didn't cry. She didn't panic. She just whispered, "They think I'm stupid." And that was her breaking point. We showed the report to our neighbor, Anthony, a retired police captain from a nearby town. The man didn't even finish reading before slamming the papers on the table. "Absolutely not. This is wrong. Go to the station. Ask for the chief. And if they refuse," he pointed at the door, "say you're there to file an internal complaint." When my mom arrived at the station and asked to see the chief, the desk officer almost laughed at her. Until she said, "Okay, then tell me where I go to file an internal complaint." The man straightened like someone had yanked his spine into place. Suddenly it was, "Right this way, ma'am." They brought her into a back room. The deputy chief came in and immediately turned on the recorder. And my mom laid out everything. The photos. The angles. The tire marks. The witnesses. The fact that Officer Kenny never spoke to her or Karen. The fact that Sam, Karen's boyfriend, interfered even though he hadn't seen the crash. And then she dropped the final blow. Maybe Officer Kenny didn't listen to me because of my accent. The room went still. The deputy chief nodded slowly and said they'd open a full internal investigation. The moment my mom walked out of that station, she looked lighter. Angry, yes, but confident. Like she knew she was finally being heard. Our insurance reviewed the same photos and laughed. They refused to pay Karen a dime. Instead, they went after Karen's insurance to pay for our damage. The internal investigation did its thing. A month of interviews, statements, and slow, grinding bureaucracy. Finally, an officer came to our door and said, "Officer Kenny has been disciplined." He didn't say how, but trust me, it wasn't light. Sam, unfortunately, didn't get enough evidence against him. But it was already a win. Until Karen, because she cannot help herself, filed 3 tickets against my mom, one day before the statute of limitations. So late that we couldn't counterfile. Karen clearly thought, "Oh, Asian lady with an accent? She'll just pay." But my mom? My mom doesn't lose. She immediately hired a lawyer. They transferred the case to a bigger court out of town, so Karen would have to miss work and drive farther. The lawyer had mountains of evidence. And on the court date, Karen didn't even show up. Case dismissed. My mom didn't spread rumors. She didn't gossip. She didn't exaggerate. She simply told the story. And that was enough. Our town is small. People talk. Moms talk even faster. Within weeks, half the town knew. Karen lied. Sam interfered. A cop falsified a report. And my mom beat them legally and publicly. Sam stopped being invited to school assemblies. Karen found herself frozen out of the PTA. Parents whispered. Teachers avoided eye contact. Their reputations, once shiny, were suddenly stained. And in a small town, that stain never comes out. Anthony even spoke privately to the police chief. We later heard that Sam, while not formally punished, got ripped apart behind closed doors. As for my mom, she got her car fixed, her name cleared, her confidence restored. And Karen? Well, she learned that underestimating someone because of their accent might be the most expensive mistake she ever made. Karen didn't show up to court. The judge dismissed everything. Her attempt to punish my mom exploded in her face. And the quiet, icy judgment from the entire town? That was the cherry on top. My mom didn't just win legally. She won socially, publicly, thoroughly. Sometimes the most powerful people are the ones who get underestimated the most. And sometimes, karma doesn't need help. It just needs a little push in the right direction. My mom gave it that push.